Good morning from Mission Control Center in Houston, Texas, in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where teams on the ground are looking live, as you are now, on NASA Plus, as two NASA astronauts prepare to venture outside the International Space Station and begin a spacewalk to support International Space Station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades.
This is the planned tasks for the RGA and reflector EVA. EV1 exits the airlock first, wearing red stripes, and EV2 exits second, wearing white stripes. The first task in this EVA is to remove and replace RGA2 in the S0 truss location. EV1 will be working on the back side of the truss. They will carry the new RGA to the worksite, remove the bolts and connectors, and then pull the old RGA out. EV2 will be positioned inside the truss to assist with removing the electrical connections and the bolts. They will then put the new RGA in place. Once the RGA R&R is complete, EV2 will move to the Node 2 Zenith docking port to remove and replace the planar reflector. EV2 will remove 3 bolts in order to remove the planar reflector. They will then put the new one in its place and bolt it back down. Before leaving the worksite, EV2 will take photos of the new reflector and its surrounding area. Meanwhile, EV1 will be working on the nicer payload located on the S3 outboard truss. EV1 will be installing wedge-shaped patches from the caddy to cover the damaged areas of the light detectors. Once complete, they will then take photos to confirm the configuration is correct. EV1 will then move to the AMS worksite to move a C2V2 cable to allow access to the payload. Once both crew members meet up at the AMS worksite, EV1 will ingress the truss to access the AMS patch panel and then remove the cloth covering. EV1 will then do fit checks to determine what connectors are easily accessible for future upgrades. Once complete with their tasks, both crew members will then go back to the airlock and ingress, marking the end of the RGA and reflector EVA.
And there you can see Suni Williams beginning her journey into the crew lock with the assistance of NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore and Don Pettit. Nick Hague already in there. And that is EV1 Nick Hague, the first one to pop out of the hatchway of the crew lock of the International Space Station. And at the time, the International Space Station currently flying some 250 miles over Turkmenistan and about to enter an orbital nighttime period.
Here we go.
And Suni, while Nick is working anchor hooks, you can work to retrieve the large ORU bag for handoff.
Roger. SCUs want to come towards the center. Roger for them.
That is NASA astronaut Nick Hague just outside the hatchway area of the
Nick, when you're ready.
crew lock of the Quest airlock EV1, designated by the red stripes you can see on the pants of his suit.
Moving in position for the BRT. That's good. If you just hold it right there.
Yep.
Get a hook on it. See a good hook.
And Nick,
Releasing the airlock hook.
Yes.
Nick, just jumping in. We want to make sure that
I see you come back in.
reels are
I'll
unlocked.
you back.
On the safety tethers.
Yeah, A-firm, Nick.
I'm locked on my red.
Yeah, I can understand. I'm going to deal with this ORU real quick, Jess, and then I'm going to check those.
Cappy, no problem. We're about a minute and a half to another handover.
Okay. Okay. It's in a decent spot. Reels. Got mine floating right in front of me. I see 2 reels unlocked. And here's, I see a green reel unlocked and a red reel unlocked. All 4 reels are unlocked. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get out of your way.
Cappy, good check.
My legs are going to... I'm coming out.
Okay. Your tether is right in front of you.
Okay. And I have my PRT tether on the lock bag.
Okay.
Right now.
Tethers are tended nice right directly in front of you, so clear your legs.
What is there?
You're good. Safety tethers are just strung out in front of you towards your tether point. You're good. Your standoff.
And Nick, I see you heading forward. I'm going to start heading up.
I think that's enough that my safety tether will stay out of your way now.
Yep. I see it anyway. I will watch it.
We are approaching 19 minutes into today's EVA activities as NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams continue to communicate as they make their way over to the first task of the EVA, which is to remove and replace the rate gyro assembly unit number 2 that has been given the command to be powered down in anticipation of this remove and replace. And this is all part of the ISS assembly maintenance and upgrades for today's planned 4 tasks. This is the first of those 4. That is astronaut Nick Hague in the red stripes moving into position with Suni Williams closely following behind as the International Space Station currently in an orbital nighttime.
I'm crossing over each other. I see it here in front of me. Okay.
And there's a great look at Expedition 72 Commander Suni Williams with Nick Hague just above her on the truss of the International Space Station, translating across that truss to begin work on the rate gyro assembly unit number 2 replacement.
I'm over on the seated cart, Jeff.
A-firm, Suni, you're going to head out to the starboard seated cart, and once you're there, you can stow crew lock bag 1 on any of the seated cart square grids. We're going to have you do an APFR task.
Okay. Sure. Look.
Jess. I'm at 3519 for the location.
Awesome. Yep, you're going to stow one end of your mini workstation RET on that handrail for the failed RGA, and then you can continue moving down. You want to avoid contact with that S0 aft face radiator as well.
And I see the shiny surface. Got a good hook down on 3519 with one end of the RET. Their end is free.
Cappy Nick, your next step here is going to be to open the RGA-2 thermal shroud. As you move down, you're going to be peeling that port to starboard and then releasing the Velcro from under handrail 3520, which is that handrail where your work site is.
Yeah, good work.
Hey, getting the work bag is connected. I'm just getting it off of me.
Cappy Sunny, let me know when you're ready for words for the APFR relocate.
Hey, I'm ready for words.
Okay, you're going to relocate the APFR from the WIFX that's currently in WIF 1, and you're just moving the APFR only to WIF 4.
Okay. Got a tether on it.
Copy.
So just the APFR WIF 4, which is the one on the top. Wait. That's the one in the middle.
WIF 4 is going to be the one on the top it's actually going to be port side of the starboard seat cart.
Yep. Port and hop up.
Yeah, A-firm. That's a good read back. And then you're looking for a clocking of 3, and then I have the other settings for you when you're ready.
Clocking of 3.
23.5 minutes into today's EVA, you're seeing Suni Williams adjusting the portable foot restraint systems in preparation for today's first task of US EVA number 91, the removal and replacement of rate gyro assembly number 2. For Suni Williams, this is EVA, her 8th spacewalk into the vacuum of space, nearly more than 18 years after her first. As for Nick Hague, this is his 4th, and he will be seen in red stripes on his suit. His first since August of 2019.
No.
Okay. I'm at handrail 3520. All eyes open. I see our RGA. I'm going to work on temp stowing our artillery bag.
Yeah, copy, Nick, that you're down there at 3520. You can attach the other end of that pre-staged RET to the failed RGA now and get that off your mini workstation.
Jess, can I start working on the Nader electrical?
Yes, Sonny, we're just going to have you stand by until we get this bolt drove.
Okay, Jess, I got good green light, 6.2 actual torque, and 1.03 turns. That's the wrong setting. It was on Alpha 4. Want me to hit it again to raise it to the 0.3?
Stand by, Nick. We're talking. And Nick, you can just switch up to Alpha 6 and then do it one more time for us.
Okay, Alpha 6 is set.
Just over 50 minutes in today's EVA task as you hear and see the work being done by NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams on attaching the replacement unit of the rate gyro assembly unit number 2 that measures the rate of angular motion of the International Space Station, making sure that the torque and all the proper settings are correct for this replacement unit.
Okay, Jess, good green light, 8.2 on the actual torque, additional 11 turns.
Copy, Nick, and can you confirm green light?
Good green light.
Copy, that's a good vote. You can stow your PGT. And Suni and Nick, we are go now for the NZGL connection. So again, just looking for a good inspection. And then Suni, if you want to work nadir, that's P678 to J671.
Okay. Good inspection before.
Good inspection on my connector. Pins, no fog, good EMI band.
Copy, Nick, and you can connect the aft as well. That's P680 to J673.
Copy. Made it over center.
Copy.
Made it over center on the nadir one as well.
Not quite over center.
Copy, and to confirm, the TA clamps are still closed.
The clamps are closed. We're still working on the nadir. A
Push
little
that?
bit.
You can push it from your side?
Yeah, I'm going to reach in.
Your confirmation of good bolts to connect the new rate gyro assembly unit to its new position in the S0 truss of the International Space Station, and now NASA astronauts Nick Hague, which that is his viewpoint that you are seeing on your screen now, alongside with his partner for today's US 91 EVA, are connecting or reconnecting the rate gyro assembly.
Yeah.
All right, you got the moon behind you too. I'm gonna keep moving.
Got it.
This is Mission Control Houston. As you've heard, the first task of today's spacewalk is now complete. The replacement of a failing rate gyro assembly, RGA number 2, has now been replaced with a new healthy unit. That task completed at the 56-minute mark into today's spacewalk. And the Attitude, Determination, and Control Officer here in Mission Control has been given the go to power up that new unit.
Yeah.
Nick Hague and Suni Williams, almost an hour into today's spacewalk, will now stow the old rate gyro assembly back into the airlock before they press ahead to the next pair of tasks, in which they'll split up, with Nick Hague conducting the installation of patches in the NICER telescope payload on the outside of the International Space Station. Suni Williams will be working on the zenith side of the station to replace a planar reflector, one of the navigation tools on the zenith side of the International Docking Adapter, to which the Crew 9 SpaceX Dragon transport vehicle is currently docked.
Copy, Sunny. Can you check that your safer handles are down? I don't think we heard it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Stay safe.
All right, that looks good, Nick. When you can, perform a glove and hap check, and then we'll get you translating back to the airlock.
Got it.
And Sunny, for you, once you get the APFR set, just verify the pitch knob's locked and can be depressed.
The pitch knob is locked and can be depressed, yes. In its correct setting, I'm going to put it on my BRT.
Copy.
Removal and replacement of the RGA-2, the rate gyro assembly number 2 unit. And you saw the helmet cam of astronaut Nick Hague placing that worn-out unit back inside the Quest airlock and the crew lock, as NASA astronaut Suni Williams continues to prepare for what would be the second task for her today, which would be the removal and replacement of the planar reflector, and that'll be just outside the zenith or space-facing port of the Harmony module that's currently occupied by the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that brought Crew 9 to the International Space Station. And that planar reflector, one of many communications tools used for visiting vehicles on approach to the orbiting laboratory to help measure the distance and rate of closure.
And Sunny, we do have a big picture view of you from the lab starboard camera, but we're still working on your HECA.
Okay, I am here. I have the lock bag is still on the APFR. APFR is installed. I'm on the front of PMA3 and below Dragon and everything. My head is way below it, so I am ready for the next words.
Copy, Sunny. We're just looking for good words, black on black, pull twist test, and the pitch knob can be depressed for the APFR.
Okay, black on black, good pull wiggle test on the APFR. Pitch knob can be depressed, yes.
Okay, thanks for that. You can unbundle your crew lock bag now from the APFR, and you're going to want to stow that on your BRT. And we just want to make sure your BRT is nice and snug and will be away from Dragon when you ingress with the crew lock bag on it. And Sunny, we also have a request for you to power cycle your HECA when able.
Again, I have a green light.
Copy, power cycle complete. And Nick, for you, it looks like we lost your HECA as well, so we'll take the same thing if you can power cycle your HECA when able.
Got it. Tech is off right now.
Great communication between NASA astronaut Suni Williams and astronaut Nick Hague with the ground team here inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room as they continue to prepare themselves for the second task of today's EVA. The view you see here is of Suni Williams as she prepares herself for the planar reflector remove and replace. And you heard that communication, making sure that she is properly tethered and safely attached to the International Space Station.
With that, when you're ready, you can begin your translation out to S3, the Bay 1517 interface. We're going to head up to NICER.
Got it.
All right, Nick, we have your HECA back, and I see you unbundling the NICER caddy. When you're ready, that's going to go square scoop to the inner bayonet fitting on your swing arm.
Copy. I'm about halfway through. Not. We did that intentionally.
In swavel socket is off of the PGC. PGC is swung back in. Socket is going into my trash bag.
Okay, copy, Sunny. Socket in the trash bag. I have a warning I'm going to have to read you, so avoid contact with exposed IDA and Dragon hardware. And then just one last check to make sure mini workstation, tools, tethers, BRT will all maintain clearance prior to getting in the APFR. And then while you check that, Sunny, we're just going to hold here for a second while we talk it over prior to giving you the go. And Sunny, you have a go to repower your HECA now.
Okay, mark. See green light.
Copy, green light.
An hour and 35 minutes into today's EVA as we continue to follow along with the progress of NASA astronaut Nick Hague as he prepares for the NICER experiment and the patches of the X-ray telescope that studies neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena. And these patches will help shield and prevent unwanted sunlight from interfering with the X-ray measurements. This telescope has 56 X-ray concentrators, and each one of those concentrators has a set of nested mirrors. Well, over time and wear and tear of this experiment has allowed for unwanted sunlight to enter the telescope, thus not providing accurate data during the daylight passes for the International Space Station. So what Hague will be doing is taking the caddy that you heard mentioned just a moment ago that has those patches. He will insert them in select spots around the NICER experiment to allow for its maximum capability both during the night and daytime passes to continue to measure those phenomena. Light that help measure neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena that has been since worn and contaminated by sunlight and allowing unwanted light to enter the experiment. And he will translate over and install patches for that NICER experiment.
And Sunny, for you, just to repeat, you have a go to ingress the APFR, and you just want to use ingress aid only and just maintain that body clearance to Dragon at all times.
And there you see a great view of the NICER X-ray telescope in front of NASA astronaut Nick Hague, who will install patches and those circles that have each compartment with wedges on the inside for those patches. There's 56 of those, select ones identified by the NICER experiment, and the team on the ground here, both in Houston and across the country, have identified areas where unwanted light is entering, and that is what Hague will be identifying and patching up so it can return to its full capacity.
And Sunny, it looks like your safety tether pack might be kind of trapped underneath the grapple fixture underneath you there. It's just prevent you from going up anymore.
Thank you. Okay. recommended I go this way, right?
Suni Williams, as she continues to prepare for the removal and replacement of the planar reflector just outside of the zenith port of the Harmony module. That is the space-facing port that is currently occupied by a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that brought Crew 9 aboard the International Space Station. That occurred back in late September, but the planar reflector is right there, just a few bits of distance away from that spacecraft, in which Suni Williams will release 3 different bolts and actually replace the actual reflective portion of it all that both the Dragon and other visiting vehicles use on approach and docking to the International Space Station.
Yes, you have my HECA, right?
Yeah, Suni, your HECA is good.
Great communication between NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Suni Williams on their current tasks. For Williams, you see here, she is removing and replacing and beginning the planar reflector replacement, as she is just outside the zenith port of the Harmony module, which just off on the left-hand side of the screen, you see the Dragon spacecraft of Crew 9. And just before that, you saw NASA astronaut Nick Hague doing a visual inspection of the NICER experiment, the X-ray telescope that has received damage over wear and tear and time, and additional patches, and upon review and visual inspection of the NICER, where additional patches and adjustments and improvements overall could be made.
All right, Suni, just to confirm for us, just wiggle around the APFR, make sure we're good and locked in place.
I'm locked in place, yep.
Yeah, nice work. That was a hard work site to ingress, so nice job. With that, we'll position your BRT now and that crew lock bag access while maintaining clearance to Dragon, and then we'll start getting the EVA wipe with the RET out of that crew lock bag. And Suni, I know you're working crew lock bag ops right now still, but when you have a natural break, we will get a glove and hap check from you.
Okay. Gloves are nominal. Hap is dry.
Copy, glove and hap.
Hap is there. Out of the right.
And Suni, for the install, you're going to use the palm wheel to start those bolts 2 turns, but don't use the actual handle of the ratchet wrench until we talk it over if you need it.
Trying to see if I can just start it by hand. That's a little bit hard.
All right, we copy, Suni. We're 3 minutes to sunrise and still looking great on time, so take as much time as needed.
Turns on the front one.
Copy. 2 turns on the front one.
Turns on the aft one.
This is Mission Control Houston as we continue to follow along with today's coverage of US EVA 91, and you are seeing the view from the helmet camera and now an exterior camera on the International Space Station as Commander of Expedition 72, Suni Williams, is attaching the replacement of the planar reflector just outside of the zenith port of the Harmony module. And that helmet camera of Williams right now, she's tightening up the bolts, the 3 bolts that will secure the new planar reflector to its attachment just outside the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, the Crew 9 spacecraft. And there you see a fantastic view of the upcoming orbital sunrise that will soon make its way over top of the International Space Station. We are just over 2 hours and 20 minutes into today's EVA as we are continuing to track the progress of both Suni Williams and Nick Hague as the International Space Station currently making its way into a orbital sunrise as mentioned. And again, another great view of that horizon just off on the right-hand side as the International Space Station currently passing over the Pacific Ocean.
Turns on the aft. Three turns on the forward, 3.5 turns on the forward. But the one that's inboard mode, can I try to use the ratchet just because it's far for me, and I feel like I'm putting a side load by putting my hand over there? I have the other 2 down at least 3 turns. 3 on the front, 4 on the aft.
And copy, Suni. We're good with your recommendation if you need to use the ratchet wrench very lightly like you did before. And if that works, you can.
Yeah, I got that one started now. 2 turns on the one that's on the port side.
Okay, copy. So we're tracking now. That is all 3 bolts started, correct?
Confirm. Because I'm on that one, I'm doing 2 more turns, so it's going to be 4 on that inboard one. Coming up.
Okay, copy, Suni.
4 turns on the inboard one.
Copy. With that, we're expecting 9 to 15 turns until you reach hand snug.
I'm on the forward. I'm doing some more on the forward.
Copy, Suni.
6. 7. 8.
For those just tuning in, you're watching live coverage on NASA Plus of US EVA 91 and a view of NASA astronaut Suni Williams as she continues to work on removing and replacing a planar reflector used in communications for visiting vehicles. With the visiting vehicle just within arm's reach, the NASA SpaceX Dragon, the Crew 9 vehicle that arrived on station a couple of months ago, back in September, actually. Approaching 2 hours and 25 minutes into today's spacewalk. Joining Suni Williams is NASA astronaut Nick Hague. So as Williams is working on the planar reflector remove and replacement, astronaut Nick Hague is completing his patchwork of the NICER experiment. The NICER is an X-ray telescope that studies neutron stars, black holes, and other phenomena. That had thermal shields over the detectors, preventing sunlight from interfering with X-ray measurements, but those have since been damaged and deteriorated over time. So Hague has installed patches to help.
Copy that, Nick, about the MMOD
strike. PGT is double tethered to the crew lock bag,
And copy, Suni, about your PGT. So, Nick, for you, for those MMOD strikes, that 3208 is actually Suni's green hook location right now. So if we could get a little bit more SA as to those MMOD strikes. Are they on the side of the label or the side opposite?
Side of the label or the side opposite? I'll translate that, put eyes on it. You back with me on Hecka?
Affirm. We're back with you on Hecka.
Yeah, so you should be able to see the one right between 0 and 2 on the edge, on the label side, and then on the far end, you've got one near the fastener toward the end. Small, but they do have a bird edge. I can see that.
Okay, copy. Yeah, we're struggling to see it a little bit in your Hecka view just because of the size of them, I think. But we copy bird edge on those as well, so we might look for another handrail location for green hook. And Nick, we don't need any more info
2002 is
there.
right next to it.
How am I getting up there? Up.
There's a diagonal here with a handrail just in front of me, and then you'll be able to move up to the top and then back inboard.
Ready? Am I putting my green hook?
If you go back inboard to the edge of this bay, and you
have the handrail up there?
It's going to be a little bit more inboard of that. That's the one I called out the couple small MMOD strikes, though.
And Nick, Suni, we do think
3208.
You can do.
Yeah, and you can see those little spots.
We do think you can use 3002, which is that one we use for the C2V2 routing, as your green hook location.
You're hearing live commentary from NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams, who are currently underway for US EVA number 91, just over 3 hours and 20 minutes in, the two of them moving into position for another task on today's checklist, and that is preparatory work of the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. And what they're looking at will be plans of potential future upgrades to the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. And again, preparatory tasks, no upgrades on this particular EVA, as they look to have additional radiators for heat rejection and a silicone tracker layer that'll increase the data acceptance of the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer. And all this a part of the International Space Station Assembly, Maintenance, and Upgrades, the 273rd spacewalk in support of those tasks.
3208, the edge of it. Not the handrail per se, but the little piece. There's a bunch of wire ties on this blind glass here.
The International Space Station currently in an orbital nighttime that they have just entered. So you see the helmet cameras from Nick Hague and Suni Williams. Hague on the left and Williams on the right as they continue to translate or move around the outside of the International Space Station to better access the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer.
All right, then where am I going? Let's see.
There's a large, long handrail right above your head. And that's going to take you up phase 2. So a little bit inboard of where you're looking. Kind of raised up with directly, there you go. And on the zenith end of that is where that MMOD strike is. It's about 4 inches from the
I
head.
see it, yep.
Yeah, it's big.
And Suni, we're tracking with where you put your green hook location. We're good with that for now.
I see the crew lock bag here.
Yeah, and where that large hook is for the crew lock bag, that's where I had a BRT.
Okay. You're off the work right there, hold on.
Yeah. And so you'll want to throw your feet aft, station aft. Your head, keep your head kind of where it's at, and then that'll put you in a good spot to look at the patch panel.
All right, I'm getting oriented, hold on.
No problem. Settled, and then I'll start backing in for the ingress.
Yeah, no rush at all from our side, and I just have a caution to read. Do not kick the radiator beam launch lock or the OBSS to prevent damage. Okay, copy those words. We are tracking now, and Suni, just for your sake, we just lost your HECA as well.
Lost it?
To correct, we turned it off for thermal constraints from the ground, and it'll be back up shortly. Nothing for you to do.
Okay. Okay.
So while we're waiting for the HECAs to come back online, I'll read you a caution and where we're going with the fit checks. So for the caution, we want to avoid torque and twisting motions on the harness boot and sideways force on the connectors.
Okay.
And then as far as the fit checks go, I know you guys will have cuff checklist page 8 available to you. I will read out column and row that we're going after, as well as the connector number, since you might be able to see it as well. And then once we attempt the call it install, I'll just ask you a series of questions. One, could you actually reach the full install position with the stinger in contact with the panel surface? Then we'll report the band number with the highest cable in contact with the tool. And then without actually rotating, I just want you to assess whether or not you would be able to rotate the tool counterclockwise about 30 degrees.
Okay. Got it.
All right, Jess, what's up next?
We're right here. We could pop over the back and one of us could check out that APFR. coming up with a plan. Hey, feeling? Yeah, I'm feeling good too.
And Nick, Sunny, nice work on those
And
APFRs. Just give us
the finger that took the pictures.
Give us 1 minute to talk the game plan here.
Yeah, no problem.
Hands are a little tired, but I'm fine.
Yep.
Tuning all the night.
Or, yeah, we can't forget the brakes when we leave.
Right there.
Yeah.
Both sides.
We just have to tap this side as we're leaving.
That.
Have to tap this side.
You go first.
All right, Nick, Sunny, I got some big picture for you when you're ready.
I'll lead us back. We are ready.
All right, Nick, you had it right. You're going to be leading back to the airlock. Big picture, we're going to head back to the airlock and stow the bags. Nick, you're going to pick up that crew lock bag 1 and stow that on your BRT, or you can tend it if you just want to tend it down the Cedar Spur, either way. And then we're going to clean up. We're going to put all the bags and tools back in the airlock secured. And then we'd like to hear your thoughts because we do still have some time available. We're about still, say, 45 minutes or so up on time. So thoughts on doing the ammonia line imagery task. And with regards to APFR, the Z1 would be the APFR that we'd look to go for.
That seems reasonable. Everything buttoned back into the airlock.
Yeah.
And then let's see how much time we've got left and go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that sounds good to us. So
okay.
let's get you guys moving.
Away.
And then real quick, can we get one more confirm? I don't know, I think we heard black on black and pull twist with the pitch knob on that last APFR.
Confirm.
Okay, copy.
Yeah, black on black, good full twist test on the APFR in the WIFX.
Copy, thanks for those words. And Sunny, if you can hit the starboard safety part brake pedals on your way as well.
I did, thank you. Did twice.
You heard good words there from Spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner relaying up to the crew of Nick Hague and Suni Williams out on US EVA number 91 of additional tasks assigned to the two of them as they translate across the International Space Station as they have gotten ahead of their time frame, still about 45 minutes or so ahead of their scheduled tasks, which included 4 key ones that they have since completed as they are now 5 hours and 14 minutes into their scheduled EVA. So with that extra time on their schedule, able to stop by the airlock and stow bags and continued cleanup before wrapping up today's EVA. But they will also take some imagery of an ammonia line for additional engineering and research purposes. That will be coming up here shortly. And then another articulating portable foot restraint will be reviewed here shortly along those lines as well. So that is what the additional tasks have been relayed up to both Nick Hague and Suni Williams towards the back end of this EVA and spacewalk today.
Let me grab this crew lock bag real quick. I've got a rat on the crew lock bag, and I'm just going to tend it as I go back.
Copy, Nick.
tell me when you're down low.
Yep, understand. Until I get to the lock toolbox, and then I'll be out of your way.
Okay.
Okay, I'm at the airlock toolbox.
Okay, coming that way.
We'll continue our coverage and keep things here right on NASA Plus as we watch the two astronauts return inside the space station and make sure that all systems are good with those two. And of course, we'll recap today's events as teamwork on display for both Hague and Williams, the team inside the International Space Station and the teams here inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room, and many more on the ground supporting today's EVA that saw the accomplishment of 4 key tasks as well as 2 additional tasks thanks to the efficiency of all those involved during today's spacewalk. And there you saw the removal of the safer unit on the backside of the spacesuit of Nick Hague. Hague on the right with the red stripes towards the top of that backpack-like structure of his suit. And Suni Williams just across the way of the equipment lock inside of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station.